All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Before and After the Movies here. Actually, Antony never showed up. I'm actually not quite sure where he is. Said he'd be here.
Hey, Aman, ready for the podcast?
All right. Now we are back.
Yeah.
This is Before and After the Movies. I think we're on episode 10.
The big 1-0.
The big 1-0. And we decided, let's do The Invisible Man.
Yeah. Finally a movie that I'm somewhat excited for.
Yeah, it's got some intrigue, some mystery around it. So let's dive in here, Antony.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to commend you for stepping up and going to see a horror movie with me in theaters.
Yeah, I knew you'd touch all that.
It's a big step for you.
You're going to bring some earplugs, and my eyes are going to be closed like 90% of the time, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Won't be able to sleep alone tonight. All right, so let's dive into it here. The Invisible Man, directed by Lee Wennell.
Lee Wennell on a bit of a hot streak.
He is, yeah. So he's directed Insidious 3.
Yeah. After being sort of a writer and producer,
yeah, exactly.
on, I think all of them and some Saws.
Yeah, did you see he wrote Saw 1, eh?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were waiting to drop
that was my little
right?
tidbit I had on you. Yeah.
That's an excellently written film.
Exactly. So, maybe we're getting a bit of a smarter thriller here.
Yeah, and then obviously
made me excited.
Your concern with writers turned directors is, do they have that visual flair and that? But then I think his last movie, Upgrade, which I actually still haven't seen.
I haven't seen either.
But you know the concept? It's
it was supposed to be like the real Venom movie or something like that, right?
I don't know about that. It's just a guy that gets kidnapped and operated on, and his body's getting upgraded with super strength, but he's not controlling it.
Okay, yeah.
And it had crazy camera movements, where it was moving with his punches and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So he's obviously got a bit of a visual eye as well.
So that's exciting. Starring Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of people love her from The Handmaiden, and she was in
Mad Men.
Oh, was she in Mad Men?
I think so.
Oh yeah, and she was also in Us.
Yep. Get Him to the Greek.
Oh really?
Jonah Hill.
Nice.
I think this is the right woman.
And I just wrote this guy's name because I feel like we might be referencing him. Oliver Jackson Cohen.
Okay.
He plays the ex-boyfriend, kind of like your run-of-the-mill Chad.
He's probably upset with his amount of screen time in the movie.
Yeah, he's hot, but you're not going to see much of him.
Yeah. So the premise of this movie is, I think we should mention the way this movie kind of came about was there was this whole universal dark universe concept, and they were trying to kind of piggyback the Avengers and do their own shared universe, and they're like, well, we don't have any rights to superheroes really, but what we do have is this long archive of monster movies from the
way back 50s and 60s.
Frankenstein's monster, Invisible Man, the
Dracula,
Mummy, Dracula,
Creature from the Black Lagoon,
Lady Dracula.
Yeah.
And the plan was they started with that Tom Cruise Mummy movie.
I thought they actually started with Dracula Untold.
So I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Because that movie fucking sucks ass.
They did a shitty movie, and then they're like, oh, is that our Dracula? Yeah. No, we're going to do it again. So this is their third attempt. Because that was let's do a big summer blockbuster instead of these shitty Dracula Untold, kind of lower budget. That Mummy bombed so hard.
Did you enjoy that Mummy?
I didn't think it was as bad as people made it out to be.
Is very generic, very Walmart bargain bin DVD.
Well, I thought they were going to build Tom Cruise up to be Van Helsing. I thought he was a modern...
I think that's what he was supposed to be.
But it was so light. It was so barely touched. It was make that the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Start with Van Helsing. If he's the antithesis of all
exactly.
these guys.
He's your Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you start with the Mummy?
Yeah.
And she was a pretty minor part of the movie.
Yeah, she was.
And they even did this big Entertainment Weekly photo shoot with Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Javier Bardem.
Oh my God.
It was so not the way to do it. And Angelina Jolie was going to be Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And then they just never did anything.
No, they didn't do anything. So now we got the Invisible Man here,
which I think is a smart move. So they've said, let's stick with the modern day.
Let's just do a little spin on it. Let's see how this one does.
But they're monster movies. Let's make them horror movies, not action adventure.
Yeah,
because that just is a bad mix.
Exactly. Keep with your theme and stay in your lane.
So do you think this is still the start of some kind of horror shared universe, or do you think it's just let's just do one at a time?
I think it's just let's just do one at a time and see where things go.
And maybe we can tie things together if we want.
No, it just doesn't feel like a franchise to me, at least. No, I don't think we'll get a stinger scene or anything.
Okay.
So how about some fast questions, Anthony?
Yeah, it was fast questions.
Questions.
I don't have any fast questions for you today. But
that's okay. Yeah, I just need fast answers.
Okay.
How does the ex-boyfriend have all this money?
I reckon he is a tech. He sold his app company.
That's
10
exactly
years
what
ago.
I wrote down.
Yeah.
App developer.
And he's been unemployed ever since.
Yeah. Number 2.
Do you put app developer?
Yeah. Number 2.
Yeah.
How many gratuitous jump scares are we gonna get?
I'd like to say 3.
Okay, I'm hoping for 2.
Yeah. Because I think I don't know the most up to date Rotten Tomato score, but as far as I know, it's quite high.
Yeah, I looked at it I think yesterday or this morning, and I was like, okay,
In the 90s?
it was 90.
That's unusual.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't read any reviews. I just looked at the score because I was like, man, we getting into another stinker right now, and I was not down for that.
Yeah, because we've been on a bit of a
We've been on a bit of a stinker tear right now.
stinker tear. All right, next fast question.
All right, final fast question here, the $1 million question.
Uh-huh.
Is he actually invisible?
Yes.
Okay, let's dive into some predictions here.
Okay, that ties into my first big
I
prediction.
figure it would, so go ahead.
Okay, so obviously this movie wouldn't have a 90% Rotten Tomatoes if it was just like your standard thriller, ticks all the boxes. So there's got to be something that we're not seeing.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
So fucking hell. My first theory is that the Invisible Man is not her ex-boyfriend.
Ooh.
I think you're gonna.
It's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so I think that it's set up. He's the sociopath. He was really rich, but it's actually like a demonic presence who's targeting her.
Oh no!
And it's gonna like I think at the end, like she's gonna discover that her ex-boyfriend like really is dead, and then it's that spine shivering moment of like,
okay, yeah.
or maybe it's like
that Annabelle doll she has in her house.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe it's like one of his associates or someone that he knows or something. But there's something really gross about like you thinking you knew who someone was and then it's not them.
And it's just like some creep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At least with this, as much as this guy sounds like a horrible person, like she knows what she's up against, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, it's not even him. Like, what is it then?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Potential spoilers for the movie The Visit. Have you seen that movie?
Is that M. Night Shyamalan? Yeah.
You've seen it.
I watched half of it, got too scared, turned it off, and read the last half.
So you know that
I know
for
the
anyone,
twist.
anyone who doesn't know the twist, don't skip the next 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But they're going to visit their grandparents, then it turns out that it's not really their grandparents.
Yeah.
And even though that's a pretty like obvious twist, it still gets you.
Yeah.
You
It just makes you feel like scared inside.
because it makes you rethink everything that you've seen.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
What do I have? I have one who I have here that he's not actually invisible. He faked his death and he's hired a bunch of people to drive Elizabeth Moss insane.
So it's all smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, exactly. And I think it's kind of like Hot Fuzz where everyone's in on it.
Oh.
And then upon maybe a second viewing, you like pick up little subtleties.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know,
that's
you've seen the trailer, right?
You mean the movie?
Yeah. Because you see these bodyguards are getting like, so the bodyguard's an actor.
Yeah, everything's all.
That's a
I think
big
everything's
call.
all smoke and mirrors, and that's up for the writer and the director,
To
Lee
amaze you.
Wennell, to figure it out how to do it. Right?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here I got another prediction here. I think we're gonna get a scene where she kind of connects with one of his exes. And,
okay.
And she's like, I've been going through the same thing or something
And
like
like a
that.
little seaside cabin.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I've just locked myself down here or some shit like that.
Like an
right?
older woman maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's going to be a scene where Elizabeth Moss uses like paint or something.
Okay, yeah.
To keep track of him, the footprints or something.
Yeah. I have she's gonna use sand, but okay.
Yeah, like how can you because this movie doesn't have a huge budget, so
Yeah.
that could look really terrible if they do it wrong. Hopefully that doesn't get some. I don't want this movie where people are laughing.
No. I want to be scared and on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a few moments of humor, like a prediction I have is there'll be some good comedy, like where a security guard, like he's got to distract a security guard to get to her, and maybe he like moves his apple around.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think that's fine. Yeah, give me a few laughs, but don't make it like unintentionally funny.
Yeah. Don't Joss Whedon it.
And what do you mean?
He's the king of quips.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You didn't like that, eh?
No, not really.
Yeah, so to that point, I said there's going to be like a scene where you'll see footprints kind of stepping in
Yeah.
water or something like that.
Yeah, the trailer has a few of those like breath moments.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Which didn't look great in the trailer, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but maybe that was unfinished. Who knows?
I think we'll get a scene where obviously she's going to like leave him, break up with him, and he's going to be coming back and just begging for her, being the nice guy.
I'm telling you.
He's got her gifts, and then he does a 180.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna rue the day you ever crossed me.
Yeah. I know everything about you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think my one concern is that like just because this man's invisible, like where he's gonna be doing so much stuff that we can't see, that just because he's invisible, he somehow becomes a little bit overpowered.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
He's able
really
to like
strong.
get into a locked room or something. Like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
exactly. Or travel really far.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, really
short amount of
quickly.
time. Or like, yeah, he's just gonna lift a table, or the fridge is gonna fly out.
I could totally see that. And you're just the audience is supposed to look past it because he can't see.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or like when he throws her, she's gonna like fling across the room. And it's like this guy wouldn't be able to do that just because he's invisible.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, I think we should paint that opening scene.
All right, here we go. So I have here, they're at one of his friends' party. It's like a social gathering. And they're all friendly. And then she makes some sort of playful joke at him. Like, hey, like, don't drink my drink or something like that. And he kind of side-eyes her. And then we cut to them, like, getting home.
Don't drink my drink.
We cut to them getting home. And he just starts yelling at her, throwing
What
shit.
the hell was that?
Pushing her.
You just kind of sandbagged me in front of all my friends.
You listen to me when I talk to you.
You fucking bitch.
Never look at me in the eye. Or some shit like that. And,
I own you.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, oh, fuck.
I have something very similar. We start with a little opening montage of how they met, and he's like super charming, at a vending machine or something. Hey, like, need help? And he just comes out of nowhere.
Need a nickel?
Yeah. Take a dime.
Oh my god.
And then it's like them in fall taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And then starts all happy, and then he starts being very abusive to her at a dinner party or social gathering.
Okay, yeah. In front of people or behind closed doors?
Yeah, no, in front of everyone. And it's
Ooh.
really uncomfortable.
Okay, yeah.
Like he's kind of got his hand maybe on her like leg or something, and she maybe says something about a new project he's working on. He's like, "That's a secret," or like, "We're not supposed to talk about that." And then he's like, she's trying to be fun, and he's just putting down everything she says.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I told you, shut up," and it's just like quiet at the dinner party.
Yeah. So anyways, Elizabeth, it says here that and then they just kind of brush past the subject or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we cut to like 6 months later, and their relationship's just horrible, and she like is breaking up with him.
She finally gets the courage to leave. Yeah.
And you get the you'll rue the day you ever left me.
Okay, I got a question for you here.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this kind of rep that Blumhouse is starting to garner?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm really happy for them.
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, they had Blumhouse's Fantasy Island.
Yeah, which was a huge
bit of a bomb, but I mean, it seems like, every 3 months we're getting a Blumhouse release. They're kind of doing this, not so much low budget, but kind of mid to low budget type horrors, and their profit margins are insane according to box office.
Yeah.
So they got their foot in the door with Get Out, and they haven't really looked back.
Yeah, they've just been unbelievable, and it seems like, I think like you say, they could use a bit more quality control, but they're taking risks.
Yeah.
And not every single movie is gonna be amazing, but
Was Ma Blumhouse?
yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
Can I just quickly read you some Blumhouse pictures?
Yeah, go for it. It seems like they always manage to get like the one like real hot actor at the time.
Yeah, when they're good at launching careers, like Daniel
Daniel
Kaluuya.
Kaluuya.
Okay, yeah, it's Jason Blum is the guy. I watched an interview with him on the round table, and it's nice to see like he runs the company, but he's like he knows the details of it, like every single movie.
He seems very hands-on.
He's like
but
the Kevin Feige of the horror world.
Yeah, exactly.
So they were formed in 2010, and they released Insidious was their first movie.
Oh, that was Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
The River, The Bay, Lord of the Salaams, they were not doing well there. The Purge, Insidious 2, Dark Skies, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, The Purge, Anarchy,
Yikes.
Ouija,
Yikes.
Whiplash is somehow Blumhouse. They killed that. Okay, so in 2015, they produced Unfriended, Insidious 3, Ouija Origin of Evil, which is like really good. It's way better than the first one.
Okay.
Split.
Oh, wow.
Get Out, Happy Death Day, which I heard was good. I never saw that
people
one.
liked it.
Insidious, The Last Key, Truth or Dare, The First Purge, The New Halloween.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they've definitely found their niche with these like very well done, attractive horror movies that they're not
just like
slashers,
scary to the point where you're like horrified.
Yeah, no, they're like smart thrillers.
Glass, Maw, Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing really well, and this is just another step of growth for them.
Yeah, for sure. I got another question here for you, Antony.
Yep.
Thoughts on the backlash that the director is currently taking for his trailer? People thought they watched the whole movie. He came out and said, no, that's about like 30%. But now, mixed things. I'm trying to stay away because I don't actually want to know if it's a true spoiler, but he is taking a lot of backlash. This kind of seems to be the theme of trailers these days with movies. just showing you too much.
Yeah, I mean, and what I would say is like I'd kind of feel for the guy because I would imagine that he doesn't have too much say over the trailer. Like once he kind of wraps the movie, especially he's not like super established.
Yeah.
So I think the more you direct, the more powerful you get. But that's unfortunate. Like I'm sure he doesn't want to ruin the movie, but sometimes these marketing guys, they just want to get you in the theater no matter what.
Exactly.
Even if it means kind of whoring out the best scenes.
Well, I think like even like not just horror movies. Like I had that experience with 1917, because I felt
totally
certain sets were revealed to me. You know, you could kind of tell what was going to happen.
The big run at the end,
exactly,
was in there.
and that was that was their big scene. They should have saved it.
Yeah, they should have. I know you're a big advocate for the first half of the movie only theory.
What do you mean?
They're saying that there should be a law or a rule that you can only cut trailers out of anything in the first half of any movie.
Yes, 100%. Sign me up.
Yeah, or even the first third. Like,
yeah,
it's agonizing and it may make the movie look a little bit less appealing. But once that becomes common knowledge, everyone will be
you
like,
have
"Oh,
like
it's only
really
from this
well
part."
cut trailers, right?
Yeah, and you're gonna be genuinely surprised when you go in. Or maybe even like the trend Marvel's doing, where they're just straight up including scenes that aren't even in the movie.
Yeah. I think I remember It and It Chapter 2 had strong teaser trailers.
Yeah.
Where you just kind of create this mystery of Pennywise, and that's enough to get someone in the seat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think Invisible Man, like you just show like that one kitchen scene. I don't know if you, and that was it. That's all I needed to see. And I'm like, okay, this looks kind of interesting.
Maybe that one. I like the trailers that almost are just like one short scene from the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's that moment in the trailer where he's sitting in that chair. That's fine. That's the concept of the movie. It's creepy. Maybe just show like that little scene, like a 1 minute scene, and then just call it there. But yeah, you're right. This trailer did show a lot, and I'm hoping that's just because they've got so much good stuff. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I hope that as well.
I have a paint that closing scene as well.
Oh God!
So I think
you're gonna put me on the spot, or you're just gonna tell me yours?
I'll tell you mine.
Okay, thank God.
If you think you can top it, then go for it.
All right, no, go for it.
I'm pretty sure this is gonna be nail on the head. So we have the big finale where he gets like impaled or something.
Yeah, of course. Just flickers into sight.
You see him. Yeah, he gets electrocuted, and then it's all happy and jolly. She still ends up. Like she's not fully able to prove what happened, so she still goes to like a mental institution or something, and cuts to like a year later, and she's been released, and she's doing well. Gets like a little apartment, and then she goes on a date with like this new guy.
Okay,
and they're sitting in like an Italian restaurant late at night, and there's just like one table in the corner that's unoccupied.
Oh,
and
really?
She's just it kind of catches her attention that there's this like one
she's like
empty
looking
chair,
past her date, and
he's just kind of talking, and then all of a sudden a big slice of spaghetti scoops up.
Oh my God!
No, obviously that last part won't happen, but I think the table part
that's very very subtle. I like that
because it's like she's probably just thinking it's probably just an empty table that would happen for the rest of your life, right? You'd be like if you experience something like this.
Yeah, see that would be that's a much better ending than maybe I was thinking you were going in the direction where she gets home and the door closes.
She turns invisible.
Oh my God. The door closes automatically behind her or something.
Oh no!
And that's like that you kind of know he's still out there, but I like your idea where it's just like
it could just be her head.
It shows like the ramifications of like he kind of won in the end as well.
Yeah, because she'll just always be traumatized and on her toes.
Yeah. Something I'm really looking forward to from this movie is like very subtle reveals that this invisible man is in her presence and she doesn't know, but only the audience that, you know, you're paying close attention. Exactly. And you can kind of see the subtle things he's doing and just like feels creepy and stuff. Yeah.
Like making her day a little bit harder.
Just a tiny bit though. Like untying her shoelace when she's sitting down.
Keys so she can't find them in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
As long as they get the build right. It's a long movie as well. It's 2 hours, 2 minutes.
Yeah. I wonder if like they'll establish her character as like a little forgetful in the beginning. Like, oh, you're always losing your keys.
Yeah, so it's even harder.
Hiding them from me.
One other thing I'm kind of looking forward to seeing in this movie is, or not seeing, it's like a useful kind of, it's an original take because usually like when you're structuring a horror movie like this and you've got like your antagonist, it's a demon or it's a monster or a murderer, and you're using the frame and the composition to like reveal them in interesting ways.
Yep.
Or hide them or...
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, you give that big reveal because of this movie's concept where, like, that's usually what you're scared of anyway in a horror movie. It's not seeing the thing.
Yeah,
you're like, I know it's there. Yeah. But this kind of can go that extra step because even when this monster does reveal itself, you still can't see it. So it gives you some interesting opportunities to play with the frame and the camera work.
Yeah. So they got like a close up on her, and then it slowly like puts her into like the far right third.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else in there. But
Exactly.
you kind of know that he's there.
So it's a challenge because other movies have the advantage of, okay, well, when we need to scare people, we've got this ace in the hole, this demon face or whatever it is, but they really don't have anything.
No, yeah.
So you have to get the scare, and then, but you're also not relieving the tension, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to see how they play with that.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Do you think there'll be a classic like blanket over the head moment where he's just kind of standing there with a blanket, or no?
It almost sounds a little too campy. I think
Right.
this movie's going like really serious, really gritty.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of theme they're going for. So I don't know if he's going to be like a ghost. Take the sheet off the ghost and there's nothing there. And
Right.
It's him or something. She starts strangling her.
Yeah, because if they were doing the Tom Cruise like Dark Universe version, I'm sure this movie would have been like, I have an illness, I need help, and then he slowly turns invisible, and maybe about halfway you'd see the iconic like the hat and the glasses. Do you think we'll still get some homage to that look?
I wonder if we'll get glasses. I think we might get some floating glasses or something.
I hope the end isn't like him in a subway station. You just see like the top hat and the
just bobbling up and down. Yeah. Oh god.
It could happen.
That could happen for sure.
What would you do if you get a Tom Cruise Van Helsing? Look out below out of nowhere, and he just jumps in and starts fighting the Invisible Man.
Like, I think when you say it like that, I would love it, but man, that would not be good. That would not.
You got a lot to learn, sister.
Oh my god. No, there's no connection.
Okay.
I'm so sure on that.
And post-credit scene?
Maybe just like a shot of her kitchen with a very slight, like a butter knife slightly moves or something like that.
Okay. I think that might be the end. I'm gonna go with no post-credit scene.
Yeah, I wonder, like, do you think we'll get like a definitive death for this Invisible Man?
I think every legacy horror icon always has to have that hint of living on in some way.
Okay, yeah.
I think that they would like to make this a franchise if they can.
Oh, well, yeah, I wonder if this movie is really going to challenge the viewer, and like maybe you and I on the drive home going to start arguing like whether or not he was present in certain scenes. I think that would be really good.
And like, it seems like this movie's going hard on the fact that she has like mental health, like existing mental health issues regardless, which is why it's harder to believe her. So hopefully they handle that well, because you always want to depict mental health in like a strong way without it just being a tool, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they can really break into her like character and give her some really strong development, then I think it could be a really good thing.
All right. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Lee Wennell, the stage is set for you.
Yeah,
you
impress
got to,
us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Predicted rating?
Oh, for me, I could see myself giving it a 7.5.
I'm gonna throw myself out there and go with an 8.
Okay.
I really hope I like it. All right, we won't see you in 3, 2, 1. I know he's here.
Oh,
We said we weren't going to do a sketch.
Off mic. Okay, let's do a standard return. And we're back.
I said he's here.
Okay.
Right behind you. Thank you for indulging me. Okay, guys, we're back. We just saw The Invisible Man starring Elizabeth Moss.
Out of 10s?
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1,
6.5. Wow.
For the first time.
There we go.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was okay, yeah.
I'm not sure what all the hullabaloo was about.
No,
hype-wise.
I don't think it's a 90 on RT.
88 audience as well. I was looking on the way
Wow.
back. Yeah.
Wow.
Having said that, I enjoyed the movie, and I it didn't feel like a 2-hour, 2-minute movie. It kind of...
I don't know. With me, horror movies always feel a bit longer.
Yeah.
Because I got to plug my ears.
You were
and cover
pretty
my
scared
eyes.
most of the time.
Yeah, I was.
And I kind of enjoyed that because it kind of elevated my anxiety a little bit. But
yeah.
What are your sort of initial thoughts walking out?
The first half, I was just very, very scared. I think I even whispered to you. I was like, dude, I'm just like terrified right now. And then by the end of the movie, like, I'm not scared at all.
Yeah, these horror movies can sometimes be a victim of that. I don't know if you saw It too.
Not yet, no.
Yeah, well, like, it's kind of almost like the second act of one long movie. And by about like a quarter way through the second one, you're just not scared anymore because you know what this clown looks like. You know all its tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as soon as it goes to like mega Pennywise, and it's got big tarantula arms, and it's like, this is just like a Marvel movie now. Like,
and that's exactly how I felt with this.
Yeah.
So spoilers ahead.
Yeah, of course. Heavy spoilers.
Heavy spoilers. So yeah, what I have here, like the first half, the subtleness was very good, very scary. There's certain scenes. Actually, maybe I'll tell you what I enjoyed first. And
Sure.
We'll get into it. So there's certain scenes that were very scary, like when he hits the little girl.
Oh yeah.
And like that was just a whole nother element that I didn't even think that he was capable of having or actions that have consequences like that. And they're all blaming Elizabeth Moss, and I'm like, holy shit, like that is scary.
The stress of her like absorbing all this blame for actions that she didn't do, and that was really good. Like she goes for the job interview, and he's just like stolen all of her stuff. And
yeah.
You'd think she would maybe check right before she went in.
Oh, I'd be checking in the car as well.
So there were some really good moments, like in her performance right from the get-go was really
very good. Yeah, she played like the disheveled crazy very well.
Yeah, and the movie opens with them in bed at night. So
that was a good scene.
Yeah, we were off with our prediction there. Like the whole theme of their relationship, I think we were spot on. But like, yeah, she's escaping his house, and she's got this big plan that she's laid out. And I'm like, okay, like I'm with this story.
Yeah, no bullshit. Like they I guess they got her away from him immediately. I thought that was going to be drawn out a bit, but I'm glad that they went that direction.
Yeah, and then as you kind of said, as we sort of went into the second half of her, basically the turning point of the movie is when he murders her sister,
which
was a shocking scene.
Incredible scene.
Yeah,
I did not see that coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was maybe gonna like give them like rip the table off, rip the cloth off the table and run away or something. That's probably what I would have done. I hate you.
Cursed you, Antony.
Yeah. But he just slit her throat.
Yeah, and it's like I was kind of zoning out at that point too. She starts like going into this monologue. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I feel like I just noticed the knife floating like at the very end.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And then I don't know.
Yeah, and you would be that fear.
Yeah,
he puts the knife in her hands, and it's
yeah.
like not only is she like grieving immediately, but it's also the realization of like, there's no way I can prove that this isn't me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the more you try to explain yourself, the more crazy you sound. And like you said, like once you kind of use that over and over again, it does start to wear a little bit thin. And I think the movie started to run out of steam a little bit in the second half.
As soon as they switch from subtlety to like, okay, this is the villain, this is what we have to do, and it turned into, like you said, like an action flick for me.
Yeah. And then by the end, I've got some pretty big complaints that I want to get into in just a little bit, but I figured we can go through the predictions first and see if there's anything that we got.
For sure.
What I had was some suspicious animals.
You had that?
I don't know if I ever mentioned that.
I don't think you said that.
That's so upsetting. Some good old security guard comedy.
Yeah.
Got a little bit more like explaining the situation comedy. So I won't give myself any marks for that.
I'll give you a point for, I think you said paint.
Yeah, there will be a scene where he uses paint to get sight of her predator.
And that was good.
Yeah, that was the first time you ever see the outline.
And that's when it confirms, and that was scary.
Yeah, it was, because it's just like, oh my God.
He's there.
He's in the attic the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was the first time, like, I'm like, she has a shot at proving this. But yeah, so that was a cool scene. The Invisible Man is not her boyfriend.
Yeah,
half marks.
Half dang, yeah.
So obviously there's this character in the movie who's the Invisible Man's brother, and he kind of comes across as this victimized, kind of bumbling idiot lawyer character. And I never really got that right from the get-go. Like, I didn't really buy that. Like, when they were meeting to go over his will, I'm like, I don't think you'd be meeting the brother in this circumstance, and it felt very like strange. But to be fair, I didn't see that coming. So when they finally defeat the Invisible Man and she pulls off the mask,
when she pulled off the mask, were you expecting to see the brother?
No,
or?
I don't know. I was expecting to see the main guy.
Yeah.
And when it didn't, I was like, whoa. And I got like the shivers for a bit. But then they couldn't commit to it. And in my opinion, it would have been stronger if they'd actually found a really clever reason for him to actually, like, maybe he had an obsession with her the whole time.
Yeah.
But you assume it was just maybe him, maybe a couple times throughout their plan.
Yeah, the brother was like, hey, why don't you let me wear the suit or something like that?
Yeah.
When are you going to let me wear the suit?
You're not ready for the suit. You'll mess it up. The scene where the Invisible Man becomes a bit overpowered. I think that was pretty on the money.
Yeah.
You realize this guy was Jason Bourne as well as being the Invisible Man.
He kills like 6 cops. They come running in 2 by 2.
one punch and they're just unconscious.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was really dumb. Wasn't a big fan of that.
What I said, he's not actually invisible. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be too hard.
I'm reading my predictions right now. I don't think I got any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked some invisible tools. Like maybe he's got like an invisible knife or
Oh my god, if he had that, I would
Yeah.
have left the theater.
But like it just didn't make,
I was
maybe
just
some
thinking
invisible
like
brass knuckles at
like
least.
I thought when the scene where she called his phone
Oh yeah.
and it's like buzzing, I thought like
an invisible phone.
yeah, I was like please don't be an invisible phone.
Oh, it's a Samsung, not surprised.
Yeah. Not allowed. Apple's not allowed.
Yeah, so going into I got some just notes that I jotted down on the way back here. Like we kind of touched on, I had some really good shocking moments when he punched the girl.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, because it's just hard to like. It's so awful to see, and then when he murders the sister, that was surprising. Did a good job of maintaining some suspense throughout the first half, but then I really found that there were just too many moments where she knows he's there, like when he's started being a bit more on the nose that he's there, and she's not doubting it anymore.
Yeah.
So he'll move something, or she'll see like the footsteps on the bed sheets, and then it just cuts to like the next day afternoon.
Yeah.
I think the movie would have I don't know if this would have been better ultimately, but that to me just really took me out. And I'm like, there's no way you could ever go back to sleep or like just accept it.
Seeing those bed sheets.
So I think the movie would have been better off taking place like over one night or in real time, because then you can keep reacting to these situations and you can escalate it. But when you like all of a sudden she's down to like have a girls' night.
Like,
she's down to have a girls' night with the daughters. Like, there's an invisible man in the house.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like the first part where
It's
like
just not how
she goes to the job interviews, like those little subtle things. I'm glad that they stretched that over a couple days,
because it was
but
cool
maybe,
to see those scenes.
Yeah, maybe after the footsteps, that begins your night of terror. 45 minutes. Here we go.
Okay, fair enough. They went too far with him revealing that he's really there, and then her just like getting on with her life.
Yeah, that's true. Like, what about like?
It just wasn't.
How are you gonna sleep? How are you ever gonna sleep?
No, it just wasn't believable, and it kind of irked me from the rest of the movie. And some horror movies struggle with that, like they see a demon and then it cuts to the next morning.
Yeah,
but like I don't know why I keep using demon as an example.
Yeah, you love demons, right?
Yeah. So that was a bit tough for me. And to be fair, like these are really difficult problems to overcome. Like when you're coming up with a script.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I'll cut him a bit of slack. Didn't care for like the kind of character arc that Cecilia goes on. Felt like it was really spurred on by like she, in her moment of absolute weakness, she confided in her sister. So even though he'd sent that email to her from her, she's like, you're my sister. You have no reason to believe me, but I have to tell you this. And she's like, okay, I believe you. Yeah. So she was the only one that like believed her. Then she gets murdered, and then that should have been like the event that really spurred her on to like take this guy down. But she didn't really feel like she was that concerned.
The event wasn't happening until she found out she was pregnant.
Yeah, when she found out I know obviously that would be a huge part as well, but she never said like this is for my sister or like she almost, and then her character takes this weird dark spin right at the end, and you sort of realize that the invisible man has faked himself being kidnapped by his brother. Yeah. Which just leaves so many plot holes behind. Then she takes the suit that she hid, becomes invisible, makes it look like he killed himself, edges out of the security camera. Yeah. Now knowing that the FBI or whoever knows about the presence of this invisible suit, you really think she can get away with that? Yeah, true. Put a little shopping bag and walk out.
Well, I think her cop friend was gonna just clean up the mess there.
But like all of a sudden, even when he found out, you never got that satisfying moment of like you were right and I was wrong. Yeah. He was just like, look, this isn't how this works. Like you gotta say it's the brother. It's like this guy almost beat you to death and tried to murder your daughter.
I wish they like matched the surprise voice line. You know, I wish when she was getting taken to the mental hospital they had like a recording or something.
Yeah, they just didn't really do it. Like, and then my final point was she's walking out and he's like, you were never planning to get him to confess, hey? And she's like, no. And then she has this kind of like evil smile.
Yeah. Sequel alert.
Yeah, and to me that's where I was like, this movie lost its integrity.
Well, Antony, I'll see you at the Invisible Woman 2023. Yeah,
so I guess she's now the Invisible Woman. And that ruins her whole character and her whole arc because you're really behind this woman.
Yeah, it's a modern take on the Invisible Man, and it borrows elements of like domestic abuse, gaslighting, and all that. And they do a great that's like a great
That was all great.
motive for the villain, because this is the villain, these are his characteristics, but then we kind of lose it with her smirking at the end.
Yeah, so like she
yeah
almost not as bad as him, but she's like embracing this like secrecy and like she's got the suit. So
yeah, exactly.
To me, that's just where it all became a bit silly, and I was like, I think I would have preferred.
Well, that's
more.
where it became silly for you, eh? Wow.
I can
giving this movie more credit than it deserves.
No, but that's the thing, because it gave itself a lot of credit at the start, because it had this really indie kind of drama vibe. It was really well shot,
for sure.
And I'm like, let's get him. Like, I can suspend all the technology and beliefs and stuff, but you got to make the character decisions at least grounded. And when those started getting a bit superhero-y, that's when I was like,
yeah, and I agree with you. And from my perspective,
Universal, you can't make this a superhero.
Dude, I had this written down right here. As soon as we get to the mental hospital, sharp decline. It felt like Universal just dug their fingers in.
The producers, we got some notes on the first
they're
draft
like,
here.
you're going to have 6 cops come 2 by 2 by 2, and he's going to kill them all in really, really cool ways. Yeah. And it's just like, that's not what this movie was. Yeah. I don't need to see this guy kill these cops in like different ways, and it was like very well shot, very cool.
It all looked good.
But that's exactly, as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, I'm going to sleep well tonight. Like, I have no lingering fears of an invisible man lurking in my place right now.
So it kind of sold out. And like, I think if he just had killed one cop in a really realistic way, that would have been really powerful. Yeah. But then the invisible man just leaves so many traces behind.
Yeah, that was another thing that bothered me. Like, he didn't kill. He killed a couple, but he like left a few alive. He like looked at one guy and like walked away.
So
like,
he vindicated like her.
Exactly. Like that guy's gonna be like, hey, I saw this guy in this weird suit and he disappeared. And they're like, oh shit.
They'll be like, yeah, like she's right.
Exactly.
And now he's lost her power, his power over her, because he liked making her feel isolated. But now everyone just believes her.
And the argument could be said that like, oh, that was his plan because it was his brother in the suit. But there's no way you can orchestrate that. No way.
That was like his get out of jail card. That wasn't his ultimate plan, because he would love to have just kept terrorizing her. And then how long has he been tied up in this basement? Like,
oh, I thought that was like a one-day thing.
How did he frame his death then?
So his brother and him were working together.
Yeah.
Framed the death together. He was rocking the suit.
But wouldn't the police be like, yo, you died. Like, why were you also faking your death?
The police sedated him. Yeah, exactly. The police are under the impression that the brother did everything.
But the ashes, the police aren't gonna investigate those.
Hey, man.
It's dumb.
It's dumb. Yeah, obviously, and that's what I have here. It's like no real twist. It almost felt very linear, and maybe this isn't a complaint other people will have, but for me, I was expecting like Smoke and Mirrors, like a big Blumhouse twist, and I didn't really get that. I kind of left. I was like, oh, that was it.
There's just so many plot holes. Like when she goes back to his house.
Oh yeah, I got that written down.
In his basement, he's just keeping one there. Like,
and the dog is perfectly healthy.
Yeah, I felt you.
Yeah, I was like, oh come on, come on.
She goes in the basement with the day they met code, and she even says it aloud.
Yeah, how romantic.
Yeah.
How convenient.
No, I would have accepted how romantic, but before that, she's like, the day we met.
there's a scene.
The police look at the basement and see this invisible suit.
I know. The scene where she's in the house and she's like hides the suit in the closet, the same place where she like hid her like birth control and stuff.
Good hiding spot.
Exactly. And then she like runs out of the closet and like pushes him so he knows she was in there.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you're going to tear that apart. You're going to go downstairs and be like, hey, where's my second suit?
I know.
Where was Elizabeth Moss
hiding? He invites her
hiding?
for dinner like 2 weeks later. And
the suit is still there.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, come on.
That's just like, that's not acceptable.
That is not. And that
I'm getting pretty close to dropping my rating right now.
No, because don't forget that first half, how we felt, the kitchen fight scene and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was cool. It just becomes really hard to relate to the protagonist when you see that little smirky smile at the end.
You hated that smile. I knew you would.
It ruined the movie.
I knew you would.
It absolutely
So do you think we'll be getting a sequel?
Yeah, because I think it cost $9 million to make. Like,
yeah,
I think it made like 23 opening weekend, something like that. So it's just.
I just don't see Tom Cruise being in this movie.
No,
but I could see a Blumhouse starting with this one because they inked a 10 movie deal with Universal.
I believe they actually just said that the director wants to do a Dracula movie. So we're gonna have.
Would you see like a modern?
We're gonna have Morbius and Dracula. It's just like.
Okay, you imagine if Morbius tied into this? Sony, you can't have something in everything. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. So overall, like, great performance from Elizabeth Moss.
Actually, I have a little question here for you.
Yeah.
Some of the invisible fighting looked a little off. Do you think it was a green suit, or do you think they were just acting?
Ooh, I think it was probably a mix of both.
Yeah.
Different techniques for different moments.
I think it was just acting.
Yeah.
I think they were getting pulled around on like pulleys.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, just pretend someone's fighting you, because it's just like.
It bothered me that like the
flailing.
massive cop couldn't. Like,
Yeah, he was huge.
Yeah, and he just got his ass beat and just flailing his little arms around.
Yeah, like surely something would connect.
Like kick out. Yeah.
That was another one of my points. Like, I knew he was the Invisible Man. I didn't know he was also Silent Man.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I thought they were
sneaking
going to address that.
around.
I thought he maybe had some
Like pads in his feet
padded
or
technology.
something. Yeah.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
Maybe he did. It also just kind of bothered me that like the suit's made of cameras and like she's like, he's one of the brightest minds in optics, and like they don't take even the chance that he could have some kind of cloaking technology seriously. And how is he, just because you have this company doesn't mean you can just use the funds and develop this technology with no one knowing or having any kind of paper trail. You're not Mysterio.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of set up. That's who they set him up to be. Kind of like a Norman Osborn, Oscorp kind of deal.
It just couldn't decide if it wanted to be like the Mummy universe or like a Blumhouse indie horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
I felt
think
like the first half was Blumhouse, the second half was Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get an Invisible Man theme park ride, like a haunted house type thing.
Yeah, because like you said, the first time when they have that altercation in the kitchen, it's like that was Blumhouse.
That was good.
Yeah, it was really suspenseful. You don't know where he is. You just have such the lower hand.
Like, I'm just racking in my brain, like, man, how can ways that she can find this guy? She picks up the coffee beans. There was a moment where like a sheet was like attached to her leg. I was like, oh, throw that on him. Like,
exactly.
And like that was when I was invested. But as soon as he starts like performing superhuman feats,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I got to switch gears here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they would have been better off just keeping it grounded one night.
For sure.
Or maybe one night into the next morning when she's driving away, you know.
The score was really good. I really liked kind of like a Godzilla-esque.
You never made his dog invisible either. That would have been kind of
my
cool.
God. Did you like the camera work at least? I thought it was good framing.
Really nice
as you
work.
predicted.
Yeah, and really nice lighting as well. Great cinematography throughout the movie.
That's the kind of thing. It was like a horror movie where it didn't matter if you had light or not. You're going to be scared regardless.
Yeah. And I liked some of the internal monologues, like when she's just talking to him, and she's like, "Why did you pick me?" Like that stuff was really good.
But that was all that house scene. As soon as the daughter leaves and we go into the attic, we're with the coffee grounds, where we got the paint.
You like the coffee grounds? Yeah.
I really like the coffee grounds. I was like, I thought sand.
Yeah.
And they did coffee grounds. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole scene was great. And that's when I leaned over to you and I was like, dude, I'm really scared right now.
Yeah. If someone was like, "Oh, I'm going to see it tonight," I'd be like, "Okay, like have fun." But if they're like, "Oh, like I'm going to see a movie," or "I'm thinking of going, should I go see that?" I'd be like, "You can just wait."
Yeah, I think horror fans might like it, and I think Elizabeth Moss actually has a pretty big following.
Yeah, she does, and she's got quite the filmography. Hey, like I was reading through some of the work she's done; it's quite commendable.
And she delivered like a grade A performance. Yeah. I thought she was really good.
Overall, like I say, it's a fun, imaginative movie.
Yep.
It's got some genuine scares. It's not just like boring in terms of the scare level. But yeah, that last half really starts to digress. But overall, definitely worth watching.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to sit pretty at a 6.5 here.
Yeah, I'll keep it with my 6.5. I think they could have just maybe done a couple more drafts of the script, tightened up some of those plot holes, like make the suit location hidden, make her hiding place a bit more clever.
Yeah, I wonder if that is Universal kind of gave him, they're like, hey, we want you to set up for an ending. This is how we want it to end. He had his ending, and he's like, okay, I gotta.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how much like studio tampering there was with the script.
But we'll never know that.
Yeah, and I don't know if Elizabeth Moss is like, I can't imagine like someone who's clearly as good as she is being that interested in doing a follow-up.
Yeah, she's true.
Invisible woman. Maybe she's like helping other women who've suffered from abusive relationships, like.
Yeah, but then we just go down like a superhero road.
Yeah,
right?
It's just vigilante. Like,
vigilante.
It's all points to vigilante.
Like they're probably thinking like, oh yeah, we could do like a nice sequel, a nice gritty vigilante movie. It's like that's been done so many times.
Yeah,
we had that one with.
We need you to find this Dracula character.
The Count. They call him the Count. We brought in some help. It's like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
The Frankenstein. You want me to work with him?
How does it go? Who plays Frankenstein in the gritty Blumhouse universe?
Oh man, let me think. I'm thinking like Michael Fassbender.
I think it's Macklemore. And I'm telling you, monsters are okay too.
Hell yeah.
Who are you gonna say?
Michael Fassbender.
Maybe John Barenthal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'd actually be pretty good.
Yeah, take that. Now listen.
Let me tell you something here.
We're gonna take down this Dracula character.
I'm no monster. You're the real monster.
Why are you doing there?
He always touches his head. You think if they kind of extend this universe a bit?
At this point, I'm just kind of like morbidly curious.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I kind of want to see where it can go.
Morbiously curious.
Yeah. All right. On that note,
thank you for listening. This has been episode 10.
Episode 10.
Before and after the movies.
That was a fun one.
That was fun, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure, there's lots of good releases coming up, so I'm sure we'll see you pretty soon.
We're almost at blockbuster season.
Yeah.
So
we've paid our dues, and now I'm ready for some fun.
Exactly. So I've been Aman.
I'm Antony.
Thanks for listening.